just be the degree to which now, relative to even 10 years ago, I remember when I first came into politics, we were talking about globalization purely in the sense of, the movement of goods and services, and around the margins we were talking about it in relation to what it meant for the movement of people. I think increasingly as nations, we need to think about globalization in very different terms. We are increasingly borderless, increasingly. We see now the effects that we each have, regardless of size and scale or geographic position, that whatever we do in our corner of the world has a knock-on effect to everyone else. That has been writ large in not only the climate challenge, but now the global pandemic that we're all facing. So for me, what I believe we need to be talking about more is how do we reinforce the global architecture we need to collectively address challenges that are no longer domestic. The decision of one country to affect or to diminish, for instance, their forestry has an impact inevitably on the rest of us. So how do we create the architecture which not only drives incentives and solutions, but disincentives as well in the way that we behave? Now, we've had that challenge for a number of years. The issue of nuclear weapons was probably an early example of that, our response to global wars. But for me, this will be much less something that we confront every few decades and something that we will confront on a daily basis. And as a small nation in the Pacific, this is something that has vexed us for a long time. How do we ensure that we act collectively much, much more often and hold ourselves to account for our actions? So that's one of the issues I'd like us all to think more about and reinforce that global architecture.
That gives us all something to think about. I'm not going to put you on the spot and tell us which is your favorite city or place to visit.